This is Lewis Hartford Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and William Hill. Delighted today to be joined with the mastermind, Alexis Demetriades. It's fight week, we're here. How are we feeling, mate? How's everything been?
Yeah, camp has been great. So you can't be in a better place when the camp goes as good as it has. Over the moon, excited.
It's the acid test for KSI, Joe Fournier, the pro boxer. As a coach, how do you prepare KSI for this? You know, this is his real acid test. People sort of talked about his competition previously. How big is this fight for KSI going into the future of potential fights that are waiting in the wings?
Yeah, I think it's a huge fight. I think it's, you got a 9-0 guy. Won a WBA world title, same title that Joshua Barty has now. It's a proper test. I think it's stylistically the great stepping stone for the guys that are in front of him. That he wants to take out next. So I think it's a fight that you wanted to go for more than any other.
How do you sort of prepare in training with KSI for this fight? The levels that he's going to have to push here are something that he might not have faced before, especially with you as his coach, with previously with the Logan Paul fight. But now you look at a Joe Fournier. How do you sort of prepare for this, where everyone talks about stepping up their levels? This one's a big level for anything he's faced before.
I think anyone that steps up a level in a fight is out of their mind without stepping up the level in sparring. So the only way coaches and fighters get confidence is by leveling up in sparring. Is by getting those 9-0, 10-0, 12-0, 13-0 guys, or those hungry 3-4-0 kids that want to spar, that want to fight, and having those guys in the gym and learning your craft and practicing your art on those guys. So I think leveling up in the fight, although the fight might be a level up, it's not a level up if you've done it 100 times in the gym. And that's what we have to do to get the confidence, to get the timing, and to actually make sure that we stand a chance in this fight to do what we want to do. We had to have done it in the gym first, and he's been doing that.
What made you think that the time is now? Because obviously we saw Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Jake Paul's first fight fighting a pro boxer, come up short. Do you ever look at that and realise, don't want to take too much risk at times, or did you feel like the time is right now to have this test of a pro boxer? Yeah,
interestingly, you look at Pineda as a pro boxer, a Mexican pro, which most guys wouldn't have taken. I mean, you look at every guy in the British Boxing Board of Control. If I said to you as a boxing specialist, who was Floyd Mayweather's first 9 fights? Could you tell me who was Mike Tyson's first 9 fights? Who was Ali's first fight? You wouldn't know, because you're not supposed to know. They're supposed to be journeymen. That's the point, right? But the difference is, I think that taking someone like Pineda, who's a Mexican, who you just don't do, he's actually doing quite well now, funnily enough. Yeah. And taking guys like Joe Fournier, it only makes sense if you've done that dirty work in the gym. It only makes sense if you're sparring those guys. I completely agree with you in that when is the step up? I think the only time you can have a step up is if you've done it in the gym. And if you've had that experience, then I think you can step up.
Well, it's talking about Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. What did you sort of make of that fight of Jake Paul's performance? That fight is potentially always going to be there for KSI. What did you sort of make of that performance from Jake Paul?
Yeah, I thought that it was exactly what we thought was going to happen. You had a guy could box like Tommy, who put punches together, wasn't throwing singles, and Jake couldn't deal with it. And I thought it shouldn't have been an 8-rounder, it should have been a 6-rounder. I thought there weren't quality rounds. I think maybe there would have been a different result. Some people have a bad day and they're like, I just had a bad day. They don't give the quality respect to the opponent who made them have a bad day. Like, Tommy's distancing was nicer, he was stuttering, he was feinting, he landed a lot of jabs. Landing those shots takes your power level down, it puts you in your cage. So I think that ultimately the better boxer won that night, but I didn't see anything outstanding from either of them. And I don't think if you put Tommy Fury in a domestic level British title fight, I don't think he'd win it. But I think he's in the correct space right now.
Do you ever look at Tommy Fury as a potential opponent for KSI? A lot of talk of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a big difference between Jake and KSI. And KSI comes to you. So when you're dealing with a boxer who's piecing you up with a jab and throwing punches in clusters, and you're waiting for that one overhand like Jake, you might not get it, and he didn't. Whereas with someone like JJ, you're in a fight. Like, he'll actually put you in a fight. And whether you catch him clean or you're in danger every single time. He's a heavy-handed kid. So as much as you're going to say, I'm going to catch him, well, how many times have you seen Tommy Fury knock people out cold with one punch in a cluster? I don't know. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I think JJ's a lot harder to deal with than people think.
Do you is it hard to ignore sort of the talk as a coach? Because you're KSI's coach and you see, with these big social media presence that they've got, you've dealt with loads of fighters and there's a lot of talk with all different guys, Is it sort of hard to not get involved, would you say?
No, I've got 50 pro fighters at the moment, very high level ones. from boxers to MMA guys to influencers to, I don't get involved in any of that sort of talk. It's not for me. I'm quite old school. I don't care about any of it. I think if two guys have a problem, it's always nice to settle that problem. So that's the way we deal with stuff. So it doesn't bother me. And these kids, if they're going to be outrageously rude to each other, at least they get to beat each other up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how it should be, I think.
Another sort of last one for me. Is it a bit weird with this fight? Obviously, you had previous associate with Joe Fournier and David Hayes. It's sort of a weird one, would you say?
Yeah, actually is. I trained David, and I've known David a good part of 20 years, and I've always been involved with David's camps. So it's a bit of an awkward spot to be in. I think ultimately we're very loyal people. So ultimately, JJ's our boy. He's our fighter, and there will be no lines. There's a line, and there won't be anyone stepping on. You're on that side. You're on that side of the line. That's it. So as far as I'm concerned, until this fight happens, they're all on the other side of the line.
Alexis, thank you for your time, mate, and all the best for Saturday, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you.